Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our tutorial on how to build a molecule using the Flynn modeling kits. Now, as an example, I created a Lewis structure for ozone, and we're looking at O3, and I've shown you that our center atom is oxygen. Don't know how I got that C in there, but we have two bonding regions on our center atom. And then our lone pairs are those two dots up on the top of the center atom. So we need to know that information because that's going to allow us to choose the right pieces for our kit. So this modeling kit has several different pieces involved. We have these shiny pieces that represent all of our different center atoms. They all have different numbers of holes in them that represent the combination of the bonds and the lone pairs. So since I have 2 and 1, I'm going to choose the piece that has 3 holes in it. So this piece is going to allow me to have 3 things coming off of that center atom. Now the next thing I have to consider are my bonds. So within the kit, there are 2 types of pieces that represent the bonds. The gray is going to be our single bond, and the tan is going to be our double bond. So we're going to put our single bond on one hole, double bond on the other. So we're starting to see the shape of our molecule begin to appear. Now in the top position, I need that lone pair of electrons that we have identified here. And we're going to have to use this tiny little special peg to be able to connect it, because the lone pairs are represented with these kind of dull spheres. So they have one opening for me to put the peg on, and then I'm going to add that to the third opening. Then my oxygens that are on the outside, I can choose any of these colors as long as I make them the same color for the same elements. So since I have light green and I have 2 of the oxygen, I'm going to pick the same colors for both of them. So now the next step is I need to identify what shape this is. And remember, the way the molecules form their shapes is that any electron region is going to push away from the other electron regions. Electrons are negative, so that's why they push away. So what I'm going to do is use my reference sheet, and I'm going to start by looking at my electron region section. I'm going to go down to where I have 3. And as I look across, I see that I could either have 3 bonds and no lone pairs, or I could have 2 bonds and 1 lone pair. And in this case, it fits best with the bent shape because that is the one that has 2 atoms bonded with the single lone pair. What I can then identify from my reference sheet is that the bond angles, because of the way that the things push away, are 120 degrees. So when we are identifying what type of shape I have, I again need to look at the number of bonds and the number of lone pairs, which allows me to choose which is the correct center atom piece to use. Any of the shiny pieces, again, are the center atoms that have the multiple openings to put things into. The smaller kit pieces are the outside atoms. The dull spheres with the pegs are going to be my lone pairs. And then these gray and tan lobes are kind of like oblong pieces. These are going to be my bonds. So as you do your work, make sure that you ask for help if you need it. Biggest thing is identify that center atom. What are the things coming off of it? And then choose the right piece to represent that. You will find your shape name and bond angles using the reference sheet that is provided in class.